Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to All Access Pass. I'm your cruise host, Jason, and thank you so much for being here with me in the BB King's Blues Club for All Access Pass. Every single day, we'll have a different interview with another one of your favorite stars from the cruise. I'm going to jump right into it because today I have on stage with me, we like to say icon, we like to say legend, we like to say words surrounding some of these stars, and often they're true, not always. Sometimes we just like to use those words. Today, I am sitting next to someone who there are not enough superlatives to describe. A man who has done so much for rock and roll, so much for the industry, so much for music over the decades he's been in it, that the longer he's off stage, it is a travesty. So let's get him out here. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him, and right now you're going to let him hear it. Give it up for the one and only, Mr. Chubby Checker.
Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to be. I know it's a low chair, sir. We just went over that with this crowd.
Once you get here, it
Yeah,
feels good.
the landing's a little soft. Thank you for spending some time to come be with us
Thank
today.
you. It's great being on the ship. It's just you get away from everything, and as it goes further out to sea, the cell phone goes away. Thank you, Jesus.
There's something to be said for shutting off, right?
The cell phone goes, and then you enter another world of peace, and it's just wonderful.
It's like you go back in time, as you say.
The new technology is wonderful. I'm saying it's better than it's ever been, but when you get a chance to escape and it goes away, thank you.
How many of you are waiting for tomorrow just to turn your cell phones on and get back? Knock it off. Knock it off. Welcome back. I know, obviously, you've been on a handful of these cruises, and it's always great to have you back. And last night, you blew us away with a couple of big shows, man.
It seems like it's getting better. It just seems like it's just.
You were the crowd.
I'm a little more relaxed, and more relaxed now, and I'm not so afraid because I'm always afraid when I go out there.
Speaking of cell phones, come on, who's going off with it?
No, I always do. And I'm a little nervous, but I'm starting to relax a little bit because the band is so good, the Wildcats, they play so well. And all I have to do is let's think of something, and the band's ready to change in the middle of it all. And I'm just having such a good time because I'm having a good time with the people. And the great thing about it is that, I'm just a good excuse for the party. It's all about you.
Wait a minute. Did the great Chubby Checker just say that after 20 some odd years of performing, he still gets nervous when he goes?
Yes.
You do? You still feel the butterflies?
Yes, I do. Because you never know what's going to happen out there. You just don't know what's going to happen. I remember, I could go out there and maybe turn the wrong way and something goes, and that's the end of that.
We don't accept any on our stages, so.
But it happens, like last night I went on stage. I said, you be careful, because when this ship moves to the left and you go to the right, you might be gone, And so I worry about that, all the movements and the steps and everything. And the thing that really holds my interest more than anything else is that, I come out and play on the stage so you guys can go home and talk about a great show forever. That's all I care about. Yeah.
That's the difference between you and some of the stars that aren't still stars, because they get to the point where they start, as we say in the industry, phoning it in. And I think anyone who saw you last night can attest to the fact that you're not phoning anything anywhere. It's the simple fact that you go on stage and do 2 shows in one night still that's epic. That doesn't happen.
It was amazing, and the audience was so receptive, and we were just touching everything all at the right time. And when the band and I come off stage, we look at each other, and we have a show like that. We go, ah! It's great. It's great.
Now, when you go out and you're on record as saying one of the main reasons that you still love this and do this, aside from the music, is your fans. So when you get a chance to go on stage on not only the Malt Shop Memories Cruise, but any stage you get to go to, and you get to look out and see fans go crazy, this many years later, that's got to feel that you got to feel some type of way about that inside.
I think it was 1960, 61, 62, there was a man who was a dancer and a performer with a group called the Dunhills. And they had some fame around New York and in Old Broadway. And when I started to sing, a few guys from the record company says, listen, there's a man named Lou Spencer. I want him to have a look at you. I said, who's Lou Spencer? He said, you just need to meet him. So Lou Spencer came and he saw one of my shows and he said, Chubby, he said, you know, you're a very talented guy. He says, you have some stuff. He said, I'll tell you what I want to do for you. You're going to pay me, of course. I said, yes, sir. He says, with what you have and what I see, I'm going to spend some time with you. And long after you don't hear your records on the radio anymore, people will still come to see you because you have the talent to make that happen. And I used to go on stage and play. He says, that was lousy. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Couldn't go to sleep at night sometimes. You know? And I said, when am I ever going to be good for this guy? Because he keeps putting me down. I get sick of him. And then he'd write it down and throw it in my face. And he was tough and threw it in my face. And there it was. So, you know, I started looking at it and started trying to make sure that I got everything right. And then it was one day I went on stage and I walked off and he was standing there. I said, wow, was that, huh? He said, you don't need me anymore. He says, everything I taught you, he says, every time you do a show, one of those things will come in, something will happen, and one day you'll be like Danny Kaye. You'll be like Sammy Davis. You'll be like Frank Sinatra. You'll be like Liberace. You'll be like Jimmy Durante. You'll be like Perry Como. I said, yeah, right. But then as I got older and I started playing and I started watching shows, I realized that he had given me something that I still have. So God bless, he's not here anymore. God bless Lou Spencer.
Now, we're going to take it back a couple of years because I had a couple of questions from the audience, but I was actually going to ask you this myself. As you were a young man, what started your interest into the musical world? Why even go down this path?
I was born in South Carolina in Spring Gully, and there was like, South Carolina, hey. And there's just
they just heard of it. They're not from there.
Just a little. That's how many people are in Spring Gully. You know?
It's the population of Spring Valley right there.
There's just very few. And Mom took me. I was raised on my dad's farm, and we had, we raised cotton and tobacco and all that kind of stuff. Lived like the Amish people, because in those days, no electric lights, no running water. And Mom took me to the Georgetown Fair. I was about 4, maybe 5 years old. And she took me there, and there's Ernest Tubb on the stage singing. Ernest Tubb. And my name is Ernest as well. And I'm 4 years old, and my mouth went. I says, Mom, I want to do that. She said, you want to do that? I said, I want to do that. Ernest? I said, I want to do that, Mom. I said, oh, he looks so good up there. And he was playing, and everybody's loving on him. And that's all I thought about from the time I was 4 years old until Dick Clark's wife saw me playing Fats Domino, and she says, your name is Chubby, like Fats. Why don't we put Checker on that, like Domino? And my life changed. I was still in high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was just amazing, and the record company paid no attention to me for a long time, and because I go up there over and over again. I think Cal Mann says, I says, why did you guys finally decided to do something? He said, well, Dick Clark's wife helped a lot. He said, but I saw something that you wrote on the desk in my office, and that sort of, it made me wonder about you, Chubby. I said, what was? He says, dear God, please make something happen for me. And he read that, and it touched him.
That's beautiful. You never know, right? You never know.
You just don't know. No.
You just never know.
You just don't know. No.
And am I correct? In when you were about 11, you actually started your own musical group. Is that
the Quantrells?
The Quantrells.
Yes, we were. Oh, we used to go kill things. We rehearsed downstairs in the house. My father says, cut out all that noise down there. And my mother says, "Oh, Raymond, leave him alone. You know, they want to sing down there. We ain't making all that noise." But we used to work, and then we sing on the corners. We sing in school, and one thing led to another. We were always fighting, always arguing, always. And I didn't say anything because I love the singing more than anything else, and we were arguing about something. So one day, guy came to me, says, "Listen, Chubby, we want you to come up to the studio, and I want you to sing this song." And I sung this song called "The Class." And that's the one I had. That's the one I did with Elvis in it. You know,
It's your first hit.
you ain't nothing but a little lamb. That song, and it was a hit. And I was in the 11th grade, and I went to school with Fabian. I did. Fabian and I
Fabian,
still,
yeah.
we still talk. And I didn't know, so I was thinking, why don't I bring the group? And that voice in the back of my head says, "No, you're not." I said, "What's going on?" So you know you're going to be fighting, and then you're going to make, if you get famous, somebody's going to leave the band. I said, "Well, maybe I should just shut up and say nothing." Good boy. So I didn't say anything. So the Quantrells and I, we sang. I was 11. No, David was 11. I was 12. Ray was 13. Mutsi was 14. And Rivers was 15. And we were just singing, and it sort of just faded away. They're all gone now. I'm the only one left. They're all gone. They're all gone. One just left, and I have a big picture of them in the office. And I get in there, and I just remember, it's been a kind of a very um, kind of interesting life, and all the things that that has happened. And I just had no idea that we sang that song. We had no idea. I was just one in the studio, 2 minutes, four cuts of the twist. I said, "This is a Hank Ballard song." I says, "Hank Ballard sang this song." He said, "Well, he doesn't have a hit with it." I said, "So," he says, "Dick Clark said you should sing this song. Why?" He said, "Because you need a hit, and this song is not a hit. Why don't you sing it?" I said, "You think I should do that?" I says, "Mom," I go to my mom. I says, because about 3 months before that, I told my mother, I says, "Mom, you know, I had this song, this hit, and now I don't have a song anymore, and I'm not even 18, and I'm a has-been already." She says, "What?" I says, "Mom, it's terrible to have fame and then nothing. Mom, that's awful." I said, "Won't you?" Because my mother had a direct hookup with God. She did. I mean, she'd pick up the phone and call him, and things got done. And I says, "Mom, won't you talk to God about this?" He said, "Well," I said, "Mom," I said, "Do something. Mom, do something." She says, "Oh, Ernest, go ahead." Okay. So she says, "You know, I had a dream." She says, I said, "What was the dream?" She says, I said, "Mom, tell me your dream." She says, "Well, I had a vision that you were going to make a song that wasn't your song, but it's going to be a big song, and it's going to cover the whole world." I said, "You dreamt that, Mom?" She says, "Yes, I did." Ah, yeah, all right. So Dave called me. Dave Apple called me. He said, "Chubby, come up. We want you to sing the twist." I said, that's a Hank Ballard song." He says, "Yeah, you just come up and sing it because, you know, we think you can do something with this song. You have the energy to do this." I says, "Mom, guess
Call
what?"
God.
Yeah. I said, "Mom," I says, "You know," I said, "I'm going to sing this song by Hank Ballard, Mom." She says, I says, "Not my song." I said, "What do you think? Your dream was correct?" She said, "Ernest, just go up and sing it and shut up." So I went up to the studio. They had it all recorded and everything. I went up there. I sang it on the fourth cut. Dave says, that Daddy's sleeping. He says, "A little flat, Chubby." I said, "Dave, I got to go home and do my homework. I'm not doing very well." I said, "David, they'll never know." I said, "I'm going to go goodbye." And I went downstairs in the elevator, and I walked outside, and I looked around. "You think that song's going to be a hit?" "Ah, go home and do your homework." Didn't know. And while we were in high school, in the 12th grade, we started campaigning that song and going around to the record hops. You know record hops? That was great for young people because, you know, on Wednesdays or Thursdays or Saturdays, you had some place to go. All these kids went into these big ballrooms, and they were playing disc jockeys playing the records, and the singers would come in and mime their records right there in front of all the kids. It was a great thing. And we campaigned this song and campaigned this song, and all of a sudden, a man in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, named Porky Chadwick. Porky, we were playing a song called The Toot, which is the A side. The twist was on the other side. And it was called My Baby's Got the Cutest Little Boop. Da, 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 da. Really has the nicest little boop. Da, da, da. She's got a rubber tutor with a little motor scooter. And I fall to the ground when I hear it. And Porky Chadwick said, I'm turning it over. I don't want to hear it. And he turned it over and the phone lit up. And things started to happen. And then I made my way to American Bandstand and didn't know it was probably the greatest time for the dance floor. To me, it was as exciting as when Thomas Edison threw the switch and the lights came on, because it never stopped. And when Alexander Graham Bell said, Watson, is that you? They never put the phone down. And those 2 minutes and 42 seconds on American Bandstand, the dance floor changed. I was looking at the girl's looking at me.
Dancing together apart.
She's exploiting her sexuality while being fully dressed. How exciting is that? And that style never left the dance floor. It just never left the dance floor. What happened with that style, they just slowed down the pony, the twist, the fly, the shake, the hucklebuck. They slowed it from going pop, 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 pop to pop, 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 pop. And it got sexy, and the boogie was born, and that's it.
The godfather of dance, my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, you were the pioneer of dancing together apart, as it's commonly referred to. It's, couples could dance together without necessarily being in a ballroom dance style position.
More sexy looking at it in a tight skirt. Just better looking at it, moving it around rather than touching it. It has more effect. When that girl is when she's in front of you and she's moving, I don't want to hear nothing. Let me see some more of that. That's it.
What song is that? I don't care. What does Chubby Checker do nowadays? What's going on in your day to day?
Well, you saw it last night. That's what I do. I think we're getting closer and closer to that. And for the last 20 years, folks, I've been trying to get into the snacks business.
Snacks.
Because
He's
snacks.
serious. He's serious. You didn't mishear him. Snacks.
Because every place you go, you know it. There's a twist product everywhere, right? Every place you go, somebody's twisting. And it never started until we started doing what we were doing. Everybody's making money on the twist. A twist, braided twist, twistless twist. This is twist. Twisted this, apple twist, jumping twist. Everybody's twisting. So why shouldn't I try to do that? So what I did, I started inventing things like twisted bottles. A twisted bottle, when you put it in your hands, has an emotional effect. It almost says hello to your hand. It's a very nice feeling. Once you grab one, you'll always want to hold one. So I've been peddling that around. And I have a twisted French fry. We're working on that one.
Time out.
And
a twisted French fry?
A twisted French fry. And it's a machine that makes it. It's got a little twist. And then this week, when I get off the ship, I'm flying to Chicago to a snack show where we have a checkerboard chocolate candy bar. It's called a checker bar, and the nickname for our checker bar is Checkerlicious. Now, what is Checkerlicious? When you put both flavors in your mouth and they come together, that's the Checkerlicious experience. That's it. And so that's what I'm doing right now. We have some beef jerky that we're working on, but we have 2 products, and we're hoping that maybe you'll start seeing it in the stores and gift baskets and things like that. Because, I've always been interested in that, because I said, everyone's making money from the tourists. Well, why shouldn't I try it too? So that's what I'm doing.
You did popularize it, so at some point,
we'll see how it goes. I hope it goes well.
There's a couple of folks here who would like to ask you some questions, if you'd be so kind.
Okay.
John, who comes to us from Hayden, Colorado, says, what were the circumstances regarding the twist getting back to #1 a year later?
Well, the twist came out in 1960, and I think in October it was #1 in 1960. And we did Let's Twist Again, and we did The Mess Around, and we did and Zsa Zsa Gabor was 39 years old. And I can imagine what she looked like at 39. And she went into the Peppermint Lounge. And I guess Joey D must have been playing the twist because there was no other twist songs at that time. And Zsa Zsa did the twist. And Earl Wilson was watching, great columnist, took pictures of all that woman doing the twist. And it got into the newspapers. And it created a stir everywhere. And I was out in Kansas doing some shows, and it got in the newspaper. I said, Chubby, guess what? He says, we want you to come to New York or whatever it was. And I came back to my house, and newspapers all around the house. What's going on here? He says, I guess you're going to be a big star. I said, why is that? Zsa Zsa Gabor did the twist at the Peppermint Lounge, and the world wants to see it all over again. And the song was #1 in October of '60. The same song became #1 twice in 1962. Thank you, darling, Zsa Zsa.
Thank you, Zsa Zsa. It's amazing how fickle the industry is, right? How amazing it's fickle in that way. I mean, the right person at the right time, here's the right song, and all of a sudden, boop, there it is again.
You just don't know what's going to happen. You just have to kind of exist and get beat around a little bit. And if something happens, fine.
Sure. Gus, all the way from New Jersey, says, are you or have you ever been friends with Hank Ballard?
Well, I knew him, and I'm a fan of Hank Ballard's because he came out around 1954, 1955, and he had very sexy songs. All of his songs were nasty songs, and the kids loved it. Oh, we did. He sung a song called "Work With Me, Annie." Hank Ballard and the Midnighters, and the band would go.
It was a very difficult part.
And that's it. Work with me, Annie. Work with me, Annie. So let's get it while the getting is good. So good, so good, so. I mean, he wrote those kind of songs, and then he wrote a song called "Annie Had a Baby, She Can't Work No More," because every time she started working, she had to stop and walk the baby across the floor. So it was those kind of songs, and we loved Hank Ballard. He did these kind of songs. I was a fan of his, and the twist came out, and it was a little bit, and then it sort of faded out, and I remember playing in California, and who's standing right there? Hank Ballard. I said, that's Hank Ballard, and so the band started playing. I went and got him, put him on stage, and I sat down and watched him sing it. No. But he wrote the greatest song. The Twist is the #1 song on the planet. I mean,
Still,
Hank Ballard wrote that. It's the #1 song, and they're supposed to do it every 50 years. So the last time it was nominated was 2018. So if it's nominated again in 50 years, the Twist will be #1 until 2068. Yeah. I won't be around to see it, but I guess tell my grandkids to make sure you say something for me.
That's Granddad. That's Granddad up there. Noah, all the way from Boston, says, oh, this is interesting. How did your psychedelic record "Stoned in the Bathroom" come about?
Well,
if you don't know, now you know.
Well, it was back in the day, and I was really, influenced by all of the long-haired guys from England and all the stuff that they did, and I wrote up some songs, and one of them was "Stoned in the Bathroom" on a Sunday afternoon, and I arranged it, and it was kind of a cool kind of song, and we put it out. We thought that everybody's going to play it. Well, they didn't. Well, it went, it made a little bit of noise, but it was a really nice song, and now it seemed like today, if they started playing it, maybe somebody will make a hit because everybody gets stoned anymore. It's legal. You can get stoned as you want.
Don't even have to be in the bathroom anymore. Yeah, you're just stoned in public. Stoned on a cruise ship. I've walked down a few hallways. I know what's going on. Sorry. Barry Furman, who comes to us from Sarasota, Florida, an interesting diatribe here. I read that there might be some concerns from your end that you're still not elected into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after starting the twist craze. All capitals, I agree, period. Full stop. I think that Sedaka, Anka, Connie Francis, Bean should also belong too. What are your thoughts on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, you know, it's hard to say how they make up their mind about what they do, and sometimes I have kind of a negative attitude on it all. Don't mean to have it, but I just a lot of people that are in there, I say, what good does it do if you're in there? It's almost like dying and giving away all your money after you become rich. It's just like, what's the big deal?
I made it. Oh, I made it. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking about what's the big deal, and
Sure.
I would like to be in there. It'd be nice, and I don't know what it's all about, but the greatest thing about being a performer, because a lot of guys in there and they're not here anymore, and some guys get in, and then 2 years later they're gone. And so my thought is, I think about 4 months ago, they had a new category, and they put the twist into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Chubby Checker. Okay, well, they got the song in there, but I guess they don't want my body in there. So, but I look at it this way. It's hard to kind of put your hand on it, but the greatest thing that I enjoy, is what happened last night is better than anything. Yeah. Being on the stage in front of a live audience, you can't do any better than that.
That's a testament, though.
Yeah, that's just it. There's nothing better than that. Being on the stage in front of a live audience and people are taking in what you're doing. That's the best thing.
You broke in 1959.
Mm-hmm.
It is now 2018, and you still have an audience on their feet.
Well, what I
screaming,
really
shouting,
want is a
dancing.
Nobel Prize and $1 million check. Thank you. We changed the dance.
You've got my vote.
We changed the dance floor. That's bigger than anything.
I mean, there's something to be said for that. There absolutely is. And
The biggest thing on the dance floor. I mean, we changed the dance floor forever. In fact, the dance floor is as old as my career. How about that? I mean, now wait a minute.
Coincidence.
Let me fix that again, because the Bible says. Because I got to go back to that. Bible says nothing is new. No matter what you do, people did it before. Well, maybe, and rock and roll wasn't here, but maybe it was. But we gave rock and roll something that it didn't have before. So, all I can say is like, hey, I'm just so happy to be here, healthy, alive, and living my dream, because everything I ever wanted, I got. Everything.
God bless you for that.
Yeah.
Well, my friends, 30 minutes disappears in the blink of an eye when you've got a legend on stage, does it not? It goes right away. We know a lot of you have some things to get to tonight, but before you walk away and leave this room, do me a favor. Make sure you come back and join us every single day for another all-access pass. And not to be outdone is the one we just finished a moment ago. Do me a favor, hands together, let him hear it. The one and only, the iconic Chubby Checker.